Becca said she'd walk me home. How weird. I felt tense and she never stopped telling some drivel. And right in front of my home, she grabbed my waist and pulled me close to her. What are you doing? Are you a lesbian? Hi, I'm Anne-Marie. My boyfriend Ostin and I have been playing football since we were kids, but he's way better, and today his team plays for the state championship. Ostin is the team leader and must bring them the long-awaited victory. The score was even, and only several minutes left until the end of the game. Ostin got a forward pass and was running like hell, but suddenly he slipped, his knee arched and he fell screaming in pain. He was hospitalized right away, and the first thing he asked when he came to his senses was who had won. Alas, my dear Ostin, without you the team could do nothing, but silver is great too. Ostin went all sad and replied silver was worse than bronze. Soon he was operated for his bad ligament injury. I visited him every day, but he didn't want to speak, repeating he'd never be a champion. And right before his discharge, he claimed he was breaking up with me. What? Ostin, think again. We've been together for so long. Life continues without sport. Don't hurt yourself and me even worse. But he never listened. So I became single. Have you ever had this? When your soulmate loves their hobby more than you. It took long to get over it. He'd betrayed me and our love. I stopped training and spent days watching soap operas and eating ice cream, and at nights I cried in pain of his betrayal. I recalled my first and only victory when we defeated the team of another college. Ostin went on the tribune, shouting louder than anyone, and I dedicated my victory to him. And suddenly it hit me. What if I become a champion for him, for our love? This will be my last gift for Ostin. I'll devote the cup to him. It felt so good. Now I had a goal. The next day I was standing in front of my team, encouraging them to train hard. Ladies, enough being losers. It's time to unleash the dragon and show our real selves. They'll stop laughing at us. We'll be respected in the state. I thought they'd not listen, but the team supported me. Yes, time to kick some asses. We rushed to the field to share our spirit with the coach, but didn't find him. How weird. He hadn't even been late before. Suddenly the college principal appeared, saying our coach was poached by a more promising team, so there was no one to train us. What a blow! How could he? We'd spent quite a while thinking what to do and decided to contact all available specialists. Anyone would be fine. But soon all of them said no. Game over. Stop! I have an idea. What if we organized a player casting? We need a Shilagnuts, whom everyone would be scared of. We wouldn't even need a coach. We'd waited for several hours on the casting day, but no one showed up. We understood few would agree to play for the losers, but could we have at least anyone? Suddenly the doors flung open and she entered, a broad-shouldered wench called Becca. Her looks killed us. She claimed she used to do sumo wrestling and wanted to try football now. Yeah, Becca, you're in. We were preparing for the first game and Becca was learning on the fly. You were born for football, you know? We were so encouraged by the oncoming game. The viewers greeted us with usual whistles and called us losers, but everyone fell silent since the first minutes. Becca was incredible. No one could hold her back. She broke the defenses on her own. We won 40-0 and were leaving the field to applause. Wow, what an incredible feeling! That evening, Becca and I lingered in the changing room talking. Suddenly I felt so close to her, as she was my best friend, and I confessed to her, Becca, I want to dedicate the cup to my beloved Ostin. He was a gifted player, but his injury ruined his career. He broke up with me, but I still love him, and I want to become a champion one day to commemorate our relationship. After that talk, Becca was acting weird to me. She lingered with me in the changing room, called me often, and once she even insisted to walk me home. I agreed but felt tense all the time. How weird. And right in front of my home, she grabbed my waist and pulled me close to her. What are you doing? Are you a lesbian? She stared at me, breathing hard, and suddenly dragged her wig from her head. Ostin, is that you? He kissed me before I had time to finish. We talked until morning in my room. Ostin confessed he couldn't accept the fact that he wasn't ever going to be a champion, and when I announced the casting, he dressed as a girl and came. And now we'll definitely win the tournament, not even one. No, Ostin, what nonsense! Since when do you need a victory at any cost? You've always been fair and honest. Sorry, it's hard to say, but you're not in the team anymore. Thus, I lost Ostin another time, but then I thought I was doing everything right. Have you ever had to make hard decisions? Share in the comments. When the team learned we no longer had Becca, they nearly tore me apart, so I had to tell them everything about Ostin and his desire to be a champion at all costs, about my ethics of fair game. Girls, but I still want to be a champion and dedicate the title to him, because he's my first love. Suddenly I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned and shuddered. Ostin, what are you doing here? He embraced me gently and apologized for everything, and then said he'd chased the champion's title his entire life and nearly lost the true gold. Now, it is all legal. Ostin is our coach, and we must win all the games ahead, officially making him a champion. He is definitely talented, and we are making big progress. Wish us luck. Like the video? Then we wait for your comments and likes.
I stood in front of the mirror and gasped. A cute guy was looking at me from the reflection. It was just a pity that it was makeup. That was okay. Very soon I would have a sex change operation. I would finally be a real boy. Even as a child, I realized that I was not like other girls. At the age of 9, when they liked dolls and ruffles, I loved to climb trees and play war games. I preferred to hang out with boys, but they never accepted me into their company. You see, they're not friends with snotty girls. But even though I looked like a girl on the outside, I didn't feel like I was in my own body on the inside. I didn't know what was wrong with me until I watched a show about transsexuals, people who changed their gender. At that moment, it dawned on me. I was a boy in a girl's body. I wanted to share it with someone, but there were no friends, and I was afraid of my parents' reaction. What if they wouldn't accept me? At an early age, I was adopted by a couple of men, Derek and Jean. They were kind, caring, but they always wanted to raise a girl. And I didn't know how my dads would react to the news. Their beloved daughter wanted to become a guy. And what if they got angry? So I didn't say anything. I tried to wear boyish clothes, played soccer, and secretly dreamed of the day when I would turn 18 and change my sex. But a week before my 18th birthday, my dads called me in to discuss a future party. They said that they had prepared a special surprise for their princess, an expensive brand dress and a spa with friends. This could only happen in a nightmare. I stopped them abruptly. They should know now. Come with me. I blurted out, I want to be a guy. My heart was pounding with excitement, and my palms were sweating. My parents were silent for a long time and glared at me. Would they be angry? But suddenly they took me in their arms. If you feel better in a man's body, then we accept your choice, Derek said. I definitely didn't expect this. I immediately felt so relieved that I had finally made a coming out. Jean smiled and said that they would sign me up for a sex change operation. I felt dizzy with joy. I felt like the happiest person in the world. But then Jean added that only if I didn't change my mind before I was 18. Damn. Okay, I could be patient. There was only a week left. My parents woke me up early in the morning. I opened my eyes with difficulty, and they said, smiling, that I was in for a surprise. My dad suddenly handed me a set of clothes, men's t-shirt and trousers. I didn't understand anything. And then Derek said, from now on, you're going to go to a boys' school. It's time to join the male company since you decided to change your sex. God, was this a dream? Soon I would feel in my body? As soon as my parents left, I wrapped an elastic bandage around my chest and, disguising myself as a boy, put on the clothes they had given to me. Inside, everything was fluttering. At the new school, a teacher met me and took me to class. I was bursting with anticipation. If only everything went smoothly. My classmates immediately clung to me and began to ask me, where did I come from and why did I transfer to them? The question was confusing. I tried to think of something to say. Well, don't be silent. I blurted out that I had transferred because I wanted to study at a better school. Oh my god, what was this nonsense? But my classmates laughed approvingly. I was suddenly relieved. I was accepted into the company for the first time. My classmates asked my name, and I immediately blurted out, Simone. Damn. I quickly corrected, Simon. What about you? The guys started talking about themselves. That was close. And then I noticed one of the guys staring at me. He looked formidable, tall, scowling, and looking incredulous. My throat was dry with excitement. What if he realized I was a girl? But then the bell rang and the guy turned away. The lesson went quickly and the guys decided to give me a mini tour of the school. Laughing merrily, I walked down the hall. But when I looked at the schedule, my legs gave out. The next session was physical education. I needed a gym suit there. Together with my classmates, I went to the locker room and suddenly they took out their swimming trunks. I imagined them undressing in front of me and my cheeks were already burning. No, I would definitely get caught. I said I had to go to the bathroom and quickly ran out of the locker room. I sat in the booth, feeling terribly embarrassed until the bell rang. I needed to get used to this. I would be a real guy soon. At the lesson, the gym teacher immediately sternly asked why I didn't change my clothes. I fell into a stupor, not knowing what to say. As luck would have it, my throat felt right. I coughed, and the gym teacher looked at me even more sternly. My skin crawled. He was going to make me change. And then I got an idea. I replied in a hoarse voice that I had recently had a sore throat, but the gym teacher grunted in disbelief. Didn't he believe it? Take your gym suit for the next lesson, he snapped and sent me to the bench. Oh god, that was close. As soon as the lesson was over, I rushed back to the classroom, but right at the entrance, I ran into some guy. This was the classmate who stared at me in the first lesson. He narrowed his eyes and said softly that he knew I wasn't sick. A lump rose in my throat. It was over. He found me out, and suddenly the guy smiled. I didn't know how to swim either, and I kept forgetting my gym suit. The guy introduced himself. His name was Sid, and offered to sit at his desk. He was very cool and positive, and I quickly relaxed with him. And when the conversation turned to a party at his house, Sid asked if I wanted to hang out with them. I was overjoyed. I was invited to a party for the first time, so that evening I stood outside Sid's house. Sid and I spent most of the evening dancing and having fun like real buddies. I thought I'd known him all my life, and the girls from the next school joined us. One of them, Nura, kept looking at me. I even thought that I was dirty in something, and Nura suddenly smiled coquettishly. Does such a handsome guy have a girlfriend? I almost choked. What? Before I could think of an answer, Sid waved on me, offering to play beer pong on a wish. I wanted to say no, but then all the guys started whistling, supporting me. I could hear their screams. My heart was pounding. I had never played before. But Sid smiled. Why are you so scared like a girl? This phrase brought me out. No way! I would show them all now. But it was harder to play than I thought. Sid almost always hit the target, and I stayed behind with my accuracy. And in the end, I lost. Sid smiled maliciously and made a wish. Kiss Nura. He pushed me toward the girl, and I froze when I saw her close her eyes, waiting for a kiss. Okay, well, you've always wanted to be a guy. This is normal for them. I made up my mind, and just as I leaned over to Nura, I shuddered. No, I didn't want to kiss her. I didn't like girls. I immediately ran out into the street. Sid shouted something after me, but I ignored him. I always wanted to be a guy, but now, when I needed to kiss a girl, I was overcome with doubts. What the hell was wrong with me? I came to school depressed. It seemed that all my classmates would laugh at me because of yesterday, or they wouldn't accept me into the company at all. But the guys pretended that nothing had happened. Only Sid, at recess, said thoughtfully that he wanted to talk, but not here. My stomach clenched. He wanted nothing to do with me? Sid took me to the roof of the school. We sat on the edge, and he said quietly that he didn't care about my orientation, sex, or gender. Anyway, even if I were an alien, that's not why he was friends with me. I was just a wonderful person. He spoke so sincerely that I shed tears. You really don't care who I am, Sid? He smiled and put his hand on my shoulder. Main thing is that you accept yourself. His words echoed in my head. I asked softly, "Will you come to my birthday party?" I already considered Sid my friend. We talked constantly, and I couldn't imagine a day without him. I turned 18 a couple of days later. We celebrated in a cafe. Sid, I, and a few other classmates had fun together, talking, joking, even singing karaoke. At some point, a waitress came up to us. I noticed that she kept looking at Sid in a strange way and trying to touch him. And at the end of the evening, she suddenly asked for his phone number. Suddenly, I felt angry. I immediately wanted to take Sid away. What's the matter with me? I couldn't sleep all night and thought about what had happened. Why was I angry? This feeling was new to me. In the morning, my parents woke me up with congratulations. The day you dreamed of has finally arrived. Today you will become a boy. I forced a smile and quickly changed my clothes. But for the first time, I didn't want to wear my usual men's clothes. My parents took me to the clinic, and all the way I couldn't get rid of the stupid doubts. A strange feeling settled in my chest. Before the operation, they brought me the documents where I had to sign. I raised my pen and felt something jump in my chest. What nonsense! You've been dreaming about this all your life. Go ahead! I signed them quickly. There was no turning back. They put me on the operating table and began to prepare me for sex change operation. Somehow I didn't think about waking up as a boy and finally being happy. After all, I was already happy with Sid. I always felt like myself. I closed my eyes and imagined his face. He was so beautiful that I wanted to kiss him. Oh my god! A sudden realization hit me. I was so in love with Sid. I exploded in shock and shouted for the operation to be stopped. I wanted to stay as a girl. The next day, the first class was physical education. When the teacher asked where the new guy was, I let out a determined breath and walked around the corner in a women's swimsuit with my hair down and no makeup. Everyone gasped when they saw me. I was a little worried that the guys would get angry, but they smiled. They said they were interested in me as a person, regardless of gender. I turned to the confused Sid. Thank you for helping me accept who I am. I always dreamed of becoming a boy, thinking that this was the only way I would be accepted. But Sid showed that this was not the case. Thanks to him, I've realized that in order to accept myself, you don't have to change. Did you like the video? Subscribe and like it. Support the channel. Thank you.